Bam. My peoples. My peoples. Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis. What happens if they fight each other? There's been a lot of conversation about them too. A lot of conversation about why hasn't that fight happened. Many boxing fans feel like that's a fight that should happen. There are fans who say that Shakur is ducking Tank. Then there's the fans who say that Tank is the one ducking Shakur. Who's ducking who? Why hasn't that fight happened? These guys are in their prime, both of them. Both of them are world champions. Both of them have won in multiple divisions. Why hasn't that fight happened? Well, we really can't answer that question. There's a lot of factors here and a lot of reason why we can say that fight hasn't happened. But the bottom line is that we want to see it. We want to see Shakur and Tank in the ring. So once we get into that, it's time for the predictions. Who wins? Should they fight each other? We already seen Shakur Stevenson calling out Tank. Did it after his last fight. Did it after the previous fight. So he's trying to make it, he wants to make it happen. Tank Davis, he's the cash cow in the 135 division. He can handpick his opponent. If he wants to, he can fight Shakur. However, it doesn't seem like he has that interest. In fact, the last few times that he's been asked about Shakur, it seems like he was upset about it. He made statements like, why do you bring him up? Or what has Shakur done? And we have to see, based on the way Tank talks about it, it's almost like that fight may not happen at all. Because he doesn't really express interest in wanting that fight. We know that Tank Davis, he's the guy. He's one of the few fighters in boxing who can pick his opponent, who can say, I'm going to fight this guy, and that's who he gets to fight. Most fighters don't have that luxury. Jordan Smith, Tank not even beating DLS, in my opinion. Tank not on Shakur level, and he knows it. So I got to tell you, Jordan Smith, there's a lot of people who agree with you, but there's also a lot of fans on the other side of the argument who say that Tank is going to knock Shakur out. Shakur's going to run, and eventually Tank is going to catch up to him. So, fans are divided with regards to what happens in this fight. I will say I agree with you as far as Tank not being able to beat Shakur, and I think that that's why he just doesn't want to fight him. That's why we haven't seen that fight. I mean, Tank is 30 years old. He's in his prime, but 30 years old means that he's been in his prime for quite some time. And, he's handpicking his opponents. A lot of people feel like he's picking opponents that he knows he's going to beat. It got very interesting with Roach. It got very interesting with Lamont Roach. That fight, I tell you, I felt like Lamont Roach beat Tank Davis. I felt like the New York State Athletic Commission screwed Lamont Roach. They showed that they're either biased or corrupt, straight up. Straight up. Like, how do you spot a mistake, admit that there was a mistake, do a review, but decide to keep it that way? So the New York State Athletic Commission, it looks like they have zero integrity. Not trustworthy at all. But the decision has already been made, so we can't really cry about that. We can't cry about it. They're already saying, let's get the rematch. Tank had mentioned in the past that he wants the rematch with Roach. Roach says he's ready for it, wants it. Let's see. Because there were rumors swirling around about supposedly the PBC is advising Tank not to do the rematch, to try to get a fight with Lomachenko. I don't know that to be a fact, but that's what's rolling around. So it's a family gang. What's good, my G? Bam. ¿Qué lo que, manito? So there's the magic question, my brother. Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson. Who do you got if that fight happens? Let me start the poll real quick. Let me start the poll for y'all real quick. Tank versus Shakur. That's the magic question, my peoples. Tank versus Shakur. Who y'all got if that fight happens? Tank versus... Give me a second, my people. I'm starting this little poll. Who... Can Tank Davis beat Shakur? I'm gonna put it like that. Can Tank beat Shakur? That's the magic question, my peoples. Can Tank beat Shakur? Magic question. Bam. There we go. Start poll. So we got a poll right there, my peoples. And the magic question is, can Tank Davis beat Shakur? Feel free to answer it. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say. One thing I want to point out is that Lamar Roach is a boxer, a very skilled boxer. He's not a power puncher. And we saw the kind of fight that he gave Tank Davis. Also, Lamar Roach, and a lot of people don't realize this, Lamar Roach, he only has one loss on his record. That loss is to Jamel Herring. The same Jamel Herring that Shakur Stevenson stopped in 10 rounds. So let's put that out there. T-Man Toss, why are you hating on the Charlo brothers and Errol Spence? I mean, I don't know how you figure that I'm hating on them. What exactly did I say that makes you feel I'm hating on them? I don't even know why you're saying that, bro. Like, I know in this video I haven't even mentioned them. I know I've spoken about them in the past. But why, my brother, do you feel like I'm hating on them? You tell me, and we can, I can answer that for you. Jordan Smith, Tank only beats Shakur by KO or robbery on the cards. T-Man Toss, give them the flowers. Bro, if you look back at the videos that I've made, I gave Errol his flowers. I gave both Charlo brothers their flowers. The thing about giving flowers is that if we're talking about Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford, what you want me to say, bro? Crawford beat the shit out of him. You want me to say, yo, Crawford beat the shit out of him, but flowers to Errol Spence? Like, that's not the topic of conversation. Now, if we're talking about Errol Spence's career, I'm definitely going to give him his flowers, bro, because Errol Spence unified titles the hard way. No vacant titles. He beat 3 champions to gain them 3 belts. So, of course, I give him his flowers. The same thing with the Charlos. If you look at my videos, you see that when they won, when they did good, I gave them their flowers. But we have to look at what is the topic of conversation, because right now, where is Errol Spence? Ever since he lost to Bud, we haven't seen him again. And he himself said that, he advises young fighters not to be drinking alcohol, not to go that route because of what happened to him. He acknowledges it. And then look at the Charlos, the same thing. Their personal lifestyle got in the way of their boxing. But when I talk about their boxing skills, their accomplishments, I put them up there. But unfortunately with PBC, a lot of their fighters went that route. A lot of them. You look at the Charlos, you look at Errol Spence, you look at, Danny Garcia, he's doing good. He's promoting fights and all that. But, we saw a lot of issues with guys who made a lot of money, started partying, started going crazy, and it just went downhill from there. Look at Adrian Broner, another one. LB Marshall, look what Lamont did. You telling me Shakur can't do better? Shakur whooped Jamel, and Lamont got whooped by Jamel. That's what I'm saying. Even though the triangle theory is not like something automatic in boxing, but it's something to point out. The one guy who beat Lamont Roach, Shakur gave him a beating and made it look easy. Like, beat him up and made it look easy. So that's something to take into consideration, definitely. Go get the money. Tank ain't beating Core. Roach showed us why we haven't gotten the Tank versus Shakur fight. I think he did. And what I find interesting, when Tank and Shakur come up, Tank Davis fans always say Tank is going to knock him out. Tank is going to knock him out. But Tank's fan base is a lot more confident than the PBC in that fight. Because how long has Shakur been calling him out? And I always ask everybody, show me one single video where Tank Davis is saying, I want to fight Shakur. Just one. There isn't. There isn't. Tank has never straight up said, I want to fight him. The closest that he ever got is saying, oh, yeah, he's on the list. It's like 6 people, and he's on the list. What list? What are you talking about? He's on the list. So Tank has said everything but let's fight. Everything but send the contract. And a lot of people don't even realize this. When we got Tank versus Lamont Roach, that could have been Tank versus Shakur. Because remember, Tank was supposed to fight Lomachenko. Lomachenko pulled out of that fight. And both Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson had no opponents lined up. That could have been Tank and Shakur. Shakur, as soon as Lomachenko dropped out of those negotiations, Shakur made it be known, like, what's good? Let's get it. And what happened? Even Coach Cal is on record as saying, I don't want to fight with Shakur. He said it himself. So you could see it. The Mexican G. Tank had an off night. He's gonna stop Roach in the rematch in a vicious fashion. I don't know, my brother. You see, that's the funny thing. You see how you're saying that the Mexican G, if Terrence Buck Crawford or when Terrence Buck Crawford beat Canelo, you're going to come out with that bullshit. Oh, nah, Canelo had an off night. It always looked like an off night when a great fighter get beat. He wasn't having an off night. He had a great fighter in front of him. That's what happened. Instead of you giving Lamont Roach's flowers, oh, nah, it was Tank that he had an off night. He didn't have no off night. Tank didn't look slow. Tank didn't look like he was off in anything. He was doing what he does. He just couldn't do it to Roach. He just couldn't do it to Roach, bro. Black Jericho, salute Jay Smith. What's the deal, my G? Bam, you already know what it is. So that's a real weak excuse, the Mexican G. Talking about, oh, nah, he was having an off night. What is you talking about an off night? When we watched that fight, there was nothing off about Tank Davis. He was doing what he normally do. He just couldn't do it to Roach. He was trying to counterpunch with those hard left hands. He was trying to get on the inside when he could. He was trying to hold his ground and trade. He just couldn't do it to Roach. It wasn't an off night. It was that he had a great fight in front of him. Watching the rematch is not going past 7. Oh, man, you see? That's why I can't take you serious when you talk about Errol versus Buck. Look what you're doing now. It's not going past 7. There's absolutely nothing about the first fight that says Tank can stop Roach. They went 12 rounds. Tank didn't hurt him once. Didn't drop him. Didn't wobble him. But you're talking about it's not going to go 7. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, bro? Like, that's crazy. LB Marshall, if not off night, is the opponent that makes you look like off night, Papa. I mean, come on now. Come on now. You're talking about off night. Every time you're a great fighter get beat or they don't look good, their fans say, nah, he was having an off night. There's always going to be fans that's going to say he was having an off night. What do you mean an off night, man? Bro, the Mexican G, that's super cap. 722, Marine, Tank all day. You got Tank beating Shakur, and I respect that. You look, anybody who got Tank beating Shakur, I respect that because we know what Tank bring to the table. But we saw Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach, who's a pure boxer, and we saw how that played out. Did he dominate Lamont Roach? Nope. Did he knock him out? Nope. Somehow we believe he's going to knock Shakur out? That's crazy. Shakur got a better defense than Lamont Roach. Gets hit less than Lamont Roach per fight, per round. Any way you add up those stats, Shakur gets hit less than Lamont Roach. Tank didn't knock out Roach, but he's going to knock out Shakur. That doesn't even add up. LB Marshall, Tank hit Roach with his best. Didn't even hurt him. No way it's done before 7. No way. I mean, I don't know how the Mexican G came up with that. It's almost like, nah, he's going to knock him out. There was absolutely nothing about that fight that says Tank is going to knock out Roach in a rematch. John Parham, salute, my brother. The Mexican G, Shakur Stevenson hasn't fought nobody. He fought Oscar Valdez, and he's garbage. Truck juice. Oh, man. Oh, my God. Now we're going into the hating on the opponents. Now we're going to hate on his opponents. Like the Mexican G, you don't have to hate on Shakur's opponent. Like, you see, that's how you expose yourself as a Shakur hater. When you start discrediting his opponent. Look, you're saying Oscar Valdez is garbage. Meanwhile, the guy was an undefeated champion when Shakur beat him. And after Shakur beat him, he won another title. He's a 2-time champion. A 2-division champion. So saying that he's hot garbage make you sound like a casual fan who just hate on fighters. Because Shakur beat him, now you got to hate on him. Garbage? A world champion, a 2-division champion is garbage? Come on, bro. Don't do it to yourself like that. When you say that, you say more about yourself than you're actually saying about Valdez. Because anybody who knows boxing knows that he's a legitimate champion. A 2-time champion. And you're going to say he's garbage. Come on, bro. You got to stop that. You got to be trolling. Come on, bro. Now, when it comes to Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis, that's going to be an interesting fight. That's going to be I don't think Shakur is just going to smoke him. And I definitely don't see Tank knocking him out. I see a very good fight, a very competitive fight. And I see Shakur outboxing him. Why? Because Tank Davis is a slow starter. Tank and Shakur not even going to fight. Amir Freeman, you say Tank and Shakur not even going to fight. Well, if Tank duck, they can't fight. The Mexican G, Oscar Valdez hit, whoop by Navarrete, and he's an average brawler. Okay, the Mexican G, I'm not even going to respond to that because, you know, you're talking like a fan right now. You're not talking out of, I'm making an assessment about the guy's career and about the guy's resume and what he's accomplished. You're only focused on hating and trying to say, no, look, he lost, and no, this guy got beat, and no, like, you're approaching it from a hater point of view instead of using honesty. So how can I even respond to that? You're on hater mode right now. Go get the money. Name an opponent on Tank resume that's beating Shakur, the Mexican G. I don't know. Because the Mexican G, he's the type of fan that he'll talk about everybody's opponent, but he won't say nothing about Tank Davis' opponents. He won't say nothing about that. So, this guy, Oscar Valdez, y'all got to think about it, my peoples. Oscar Valdez is a champion, a 2-division champion, right? And Shakur beat him. But I asked the Mexican G, tell me the reigning champions Tank Davis beat. Tell me the names of the undefeated champions Tank Davis beat. Go ahead. The Mexican G, is your turn to shine. You saying Shakur ain't proven? Shakur ain't proven to people who don't know shit about boxing. That's who would say something like that. Shakur's a multi-division champion, a unified champion, undefeated. And everybody, Devin Haney, he deboed Haney out of his belts. This man became mandatory and forced mandatory and forced Devin Haney to drop all his titles and run from the division. No, you're not a hater because you have an opinion. You're a hater because you start attacking their opponents and try to shit on people who are world champions, multi-division champions. You start hating on them and calling them hot garbage. So then let's talk about Tank Davis' opponent then, bro. Go ahead, the Mexican G. Since Oscar Valdez is hot garbage and undefeated champion that Shakur beat, tell me the names of the undefeated champions Tank Davis beat. You see, that's what makes you a hater, that you keep that energy to the fighters that you hate on. But then Tank Davis, you don't talk about his opponents. When I ask you who are the undefeated champions Tank Davis beat, you're like this. It's all crickets. So you expose yourself as a hater, bro. Come on now. Name them names. Yo, every time I ask Tank Davis fans, they talk about everybody's opponents. They hate on everybody's opponents. But you ask them about Tank opponents, crickets. Crickets. Look, you still talking about Shakur ain't fought nobody. His best win was Edwin De Los Santos, and he ran the whole fight. Okay, then you keep talking about Shakur. Tell me the names of the champions Tank Davis beat. Who did Tank Davis beat, bro? You keep going on about Shakur. We already know that you're a Shakur hater. Now, since you love Tank, name the names of the undefeated champions that Tank Davis beat. I'll wait for you. I'm waiting for you, my brother. It's your time to make Tank Davis shine. You're very good at talking bad about other fighters and bad about other fighters' opponents. Tell me something good about Tank's opponents. Put me on about the undefeated champions that Tank Davis beat. You keep talking about Shakur, right? He beat Ryan Garcia when he was undefeated. Ryan Garcia wasn't a champion, bro. Ryan Garcia has never been a champion. Are you comparing Ryan Garcia's resume to Oscar Valdez's resume? So look, Oscar Valdez, a multi-division champion, is hot garbage, and you bringing up Ryan Garcia who never won a title? You want to give Ryan credit? Look, you prove right now, bro, that you're a big-time hater. You call Oscar Valdez garbage, a champion, multi-division champion, two-time champion at 135, but then you bring up Ryan Garcia? Like, that's a good win for Tank? How, like, what kind of energy we on, my brother? What kind of energy you be having? Right there, you're exposing yourself. Not just like a hater. You're exposing yourself like a tankomaniac, bro. A serious tankomaniac. Oh, my God, this dude said Leo Santa Cruz. Really, Leo Santa Cruz? Do I need to explain to you that Leo Santa Cruz in the 130 division never beat a champion? I need to explain that to you. I need to explain to you that Leo Santa Cruz won a vacant title in the 130 division and never beat a champion on there. I need to really explain that. Come on now. Come on now. So you see, when it comes to other fighters, you hate on their opponents. You disrespect them, calling them garbage. But when it's Tank Davis opponents, Ryan Garcia is all of a sudden a great fighter. Come on, man. What are we doing, bro? What are we doing? Pedraza's a stepping stone. Pedraza got beat up pretty much by everybody. And Pedraza don't got a better resume than Oscar Valdez. You see? You see? Pedraza don't got a better resume and haven't beat better names than Oscar Valdez. You exposing yourself. You exposing yourself. And then look, somebody had the audacity to bring up Mario Barrios at the 140 division, who also won a vacant title. Tank Davis beat him for a Mickey Mouse belt and ran right back down to the 135 division. By the way, when Tank Davis beat Mario Barrios, Josh Taylor was the undisputed champion in the division. My boy skipped the undisputed champion and fought a guy that had a Mickey Mouse belt. And that's what the Mexican G bring up. Really? Really? Come on, man. Come on, man. Y'all gotta stop. Stop the hate, bro. This dude said Pedraza. This dude really said Pedraza. Pedraza's a gatekeeper stepping stone. Like, what are we doing here? What are we really doing? You're putting Pedraza above Valdez when Valdez is a two division champion and a two-time champion at 135, but Pedraza. Valdez, you consider hot garbage, but you bringing up Pedraza. And Gamboa's like 40 years old. Gamboa was like my grandfather. Had already gotten beat up nasty by Buck Crawford. But like I said, man, when you a hater, that's what you do. You hate on fighters' opponent because you need to hate on them without being honest. Like come on, man. I can't even respond to that no more. Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson. That's where we at. We're not even going to listen or respond to the hate. The Mexican G, I already know you a hater, and you're going to give props to stepping stone fighters who are nobodies over the fighters Shakur beat. The moment you said, nah, Shakur's not proven, I shouldn't even keep responding after that. You already said, I'm a Shakur hater and everything about Shakur. I already know everything you ever going to say about Shakur. You're a hater, bro. Black Jericho, if you sticking point is Pedraza, you proving his point, in my opinion. I mean, come on, bro. This dude brought up Pedraza. He said Oscar Valdez is hot garbage because Shakur beat him, but he got the balls to bring up Pedraza. What are we doing here, man? What are we really doing here? Gamboa was washed. Bro, Gamboa was beyond washed up. Beyond washed up. But this dude really brought up Pedraza. Like, at this point, everybody done beat up Pedraza. And they brought up Barrios and Leo. Like, what are we doing, man? Like, that's how bad y'all want to hate on Shakur. That you will shit on his opponents to try to make Shakur look bad. And then you will take Tank's B-level competition and you will raise him to the roof. According to you, Pedraza was a great fighter. Ryan Garcia was a great fighter. Like, what are we doing? Black Jericho, they bringing up Leo, but not about how Leo was ducking Rigondeaux. I mean, look, Leo Santa Cruz, in lower divisions, he was a very good fighter. You see, unlike Shakur Stevenson haters who gotta hate on his opponents to hate on him, I don't do that. Leo Santa Cruz was a great fighter, but when he moved up to the 130 division, he won a vacant title. Let's call the facts out, right? He won a vacant title, and then after that, he lost it to Tank Davis. Leo Santa Cruz never beat a champion in the 130 division, ever. It's like, let's say Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia, if you look at his overall resume, Mikey Garcia got a great resume, right? I think we all agree with that. But once he moved to 147, he was a nobody at 147. He got beat up by Errol Spence. He got beat up by Sandor Martin. And basically, he couldn't do anything at 147. At 147, he was a nobody. Guess what? Leo Santa Cruz at 130, a nobody. And that's what he bringing up that Tank Davis beat. A guy that moved up from a lower division, and Tank Davis went down, beat him up at 130. Come on, man. Come on, man. Like, what kind of energy we on? What kind of energy we on? We discredit this guy's opponents and then uplift. Like, the Mexican G really brought up Ryan Garcia. Tank beat Ryan Garcia. That right there, you expose yourself. You really gonna shit on Oscar Valdez and bring up Ryan Garcia? You expose yourself right then and there, bro. You see, that's what happens when you speak facts. Hannibal, salute, Jay Smith. What's the deal, Hannibal? Appreciate you coming on. My peoples, y'all already know what it is. Make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. We getting it in. Roach, why y'all hating on Mexicans? I'm Mexican. Yes, might be biased only because I always root for Mexicans, but nothing wrong with that. I mean, listen, Mexicans, there's a lot of great Mexican fighters. I'm talking about Oscar Valdez and how good he is. This guy really said Oscar Valdez is hot garbage. Like, how does a guy, it's a 2-division champion, a 2-time champion in the 135 division, and somebody could say that he's garbage? Like, you either want to hate or you don't know about boxing. Which one is it? Because there's no way that anybody who understands the sport of boxing is going to say that Valdez is garbage. Nicole Facila says Trump is number one. Well, Nicole Facila, it was good having you. Peace out. You have a good night. Y'all already know what this is, my peoples. We talking boxing. You come over here with politics, you out of here. LB Marshall, definitely not one is hating on Mexicans. Nah, no one is hating on Mexicans, my people. There's a lot of great Mexican fighters. A lot of great Mexican fighters. But when you go in and you hate on a fighter just to hate on somebody, like, that's some real fanboy stuff. Some real hater shit. Like, oh, Shakur, he and you bring up Shakur's opponents, all of a sudden they're all bums. Like, that's crazy work, man. Come on, that's crazy work. Black Jericho, Valdez was dirty, and he did blame it on the tea, which I wasn't buying it. To be honest, I need to see something that validates that he was, doing something wrong or that he wasn't. That's a gray area to me because the way that they handle it. Like, I felt like I really wasn't sure. But there's definitely something that, someone could legitimately question. Straight Nick, Shakur is a pop can fighter. The Mexican G, Oscar Valdez is garbage. He was tough, but that's all. He was tough, but that's all. I don't know. You got it, bro. I can't even respond to that. In this live, I don't got enough time to educate you on that point. Hannibal, yeah, they too emotional with these fighters. Hannibal, same dudes criticizing Valdez, applaud Tank Davis. We see the Mexican G right there. The Mexican G is telling us that Oscar Valdez is garbage, but Ryan Garcia is good. Like anybody Tank Davis beat, they're good. But if Shakur beat him, no, they're not good. They're garbage. They're bums. Like that's how far somebody go to hate on Shakur, hate on all his opponents. The Mexican G, Shakur is a good fighter, but he's overhyped for no reason. He's not overhyped for no reason. He's a 3-division champion, a unified champion, and nobody wants to fight him. That's why. People understand that he's a great fighter, but if you're a hater, that's the route that you're going to take. Hannibal, appreciate the wrench, champ. You already know, my G. I appreciate you dropping in, showing love. Straight Nick, I agree with the Mexican. All right. We shall see. The funny thing about this, Viva Mexico, word is born. The funny thing about this and about all the people who hate on Shakur, y'all remind me of all the people who used to hate on Floyd. Y'all sound exactly the same as Floyd Mayweather haters. Floyd was so skilled and so good that the only thing haters like y'all could do was hate on his opponents. All y'all could do was hate on his opponents. The Mexican G is all respect, though. No doubt, my brother. Woo! Hell yeah. Y'all already know in my people's box center, we go back and forth. We love the sport of boxing. We debate. It's all love. But listen, Shakur Stevenson, I want y'all to stay with me on this so y'all can understand what I mean when I talk about Floyd Mayweather. A lot of people don't realize this, but when Floyd Mayweather was young and coming up, and when he had 17 wins, 18 wins, a lot of fans would say stuff like, he's boring, he's a runner. You can look up the memes. There are endless memes of Floyd Mayweather, copy-pasted onto a track like he's running, or copy-pasted onto a bicycle like he was running from his opponents. You can look it up. There's endless memes of that. And what did Floyd Mayweather haters used to say? Oh, he's a runner. He's boring. I fall asleep in his fights. That was a big thing with Floyd Mayweather. Oh, look, his opponents. He fought this guy that was washed. He fought this guy that's not that good. He always hating on his opponents. But you know why they did that? Because his skills in the ring was so good that you couldn't really talk about it. You couldn't really talk about it. So when people hate on Shakur, how do they hate on Shakur? Oh, his opponents. Oh, he's not proven. Oh, this guy's a bum that he beat. But they don't really talk about his skills because they know what he brings to the table deep down inside. Now, when Shakur accomplished all the things, the Mexican G, you're saying Pretty Boy was more entertaining, though. It's easy to say that now after his career is finished. I could look at endless memes of people saying that he was a runner, that he was boring, that they fall asleep in his fights. Everything that they say now about Shakur, they used to say it about Floyd. Everything. Everything. It's just the way it is. Meanwhile, all the guy does is win. He keeps winning and winning and winning. And not just winning. The big names don't want to fight him. They don't want to fight him. You don't see an interview with Tank Davis saying, I want to fight Shakur next. You don't see an interview with Devin Haney saying, I want to fight Shakur next. After he done vacated all of his titles, ran away from the division to avoid fighting Shakur. You don't hear nobody calling out Shakur. There's a reason for that. Oh my God, look, the Mexican G, Floyd never ran. He would in front of the fighters and make them miss. You see? I don't know if you started watching boxing when, but Floyd Mayweather was literally called the runner for using his footwork, for moving around, for fighting similar to Shakur. Literally, people called him a runner. For you to say he never ran, you either lying or you just didn't watch Floyd. You watched the highlights or something. You watch a few highlights of Floyd trading with somebody. It must have been that. Go watch Floyd Mayweather versus Marcus Maidana. Go watch Floyd Mayweather versus Castillo. and see how those fights played out. Go watch Floyd Mayweather versus some other fighters that it was the same thing. Warlock Boxing, what's good? What's good, my G? Tony Bach, what's good, brother? What's good, Tony? You know, we out here talking boxing, doing what we do. MD, nah, it was different. I mean, you could tell me that it was different, but the memes and the posts are out there about Floyd Mayweather. People calling him a runner. People calling him boring. People saying that he's too defensive and he's not fun to watch. Everything that people say about Shakur now, they used to say about Floyd back then. Not only that, look how interesting it is. Find one fighter out there, just one, who says that Shakur is overrated. The Mexican G, watch Floyd versus Gotti. I don't have to watch it, bro. I seen that fight live. But that's not all. If you're saying watch Floyd versus Gotti, watch Shakur versus Valdez. Watch Shakur versus Jamel Herring. So you see, the fights where Shakur stood there toe-to-toe and beat their ass, you don't bring up those fights. Just how Floyd did Gotti, Shakur did Jamel Herring. Put the beats on him right then and there. MD, Shakur isn't overrated. Of course he's not overrated. He's one of the best pure boxers active right now. But if you're a hater, you're just looking for different angles that you could try to hate on him. Meanwhile, he just keeps winning. He just keeps winning. Whoever they put in front of him, he's good. Not only he keeps winning, the best fighters don't want to fight him. That's how we know. You know how special Shakur is when you don't see none of the best fighters calling him out. Who y'all seen saying, I want to fight Shakur? Who y'all seen? The same people that's telling you, I want to fight Tank, I want to fight Devin, I want to fight Teofimo. When Shakur name come up, they quiet. They don't want that fight. They don't want to call him out. They don't want to send contracts. So what's going on? What's going on, my peoples? Roach, okay, what's Shakur's record? His record is undefeated, 3-division champion, unified champion. That's his record. Those are the facts that are not even up for debate. LB Marshall, everyone said the same thing about Floyd, and look how his career turned out. That's the funny thing, LB Marshall. Like, if you're old enough to have seen it, I'm 46 years old. So I seen Floyd Mayweather from when he turned pro until he retired. And I remember very specifically how people used to say, oh, Floyd is boring. Oh, Floyd be running. Oh, Floyd get on his bicycle and just be tapping guys and just be trying to get the point decision. He's too boring to watch. But as soon as he retired as one of the greatest of all time, everybody jump in the bandwagon. All of a sudden, he's not boring anymore. And with him, it was different. Come on now. We witnessed it. Those who witnessed it know what people used to say about Floyd Mayweather. And they used to say the same things that they say now about Shakur Stevenson. They say the same stuff. Come on now. Hannibal, that's true. Shakur style bad for anyone. MD, yeah, they did say these things. Yo, that's why the internet keeps receipts. As a matter of fact, look. I'm going to put it to you like this, my peoples. For my next live, I'm going to show y'all a bunch of memes showing Floyd Mayweather wearing a tracksuit, with a bicycle, running and looking back, people falling asleep because of Floyd Mayweather's fight. He was known, like his haters, just like Shakur haters, used to call him boring, used to say that he run too much, used to say that he's not fun to watch, that they can't stand watching him because how boring he is. Now everybody forgot about that. Now when it's Shakur Stevenson's turn, everybody forgot about that. That's how I know Shakur Stevenson's greatness. He's getting the Floyd Mayweather treatment. No question who, I've been saying the same thing. Shakur beats Tank. Yo, Shakur, there's a reason why Tank Davis don't want to fight Shakur Stevenson. There's a reason why they've been ducking Shakur. If the time comes, y'all going to find out why. Troy Bach, Money Mayweather became a pot shotter. The Floyd that even everyone criticized, Pretty Boy Floyd, was a different animal. Please note the difference. Listen. Floyd Mayweather had two different sections in his career. He had the Pretty Boy era, and he also had the Money Mayweather. But in the Pretty Boy era, he also had fights that he used a lot of footwork, a lot of jabbing from the outside, and winning rounds. He had a lot of fights like that too. Don't get it twisted. The difference is that he was more willing to exchange. He was more willing to stay in the pocket, make you miss and make you pay. But he also had fights versus tough opponents that he did a lot of running around and just scoring points and winning on points. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the sweet science. Floyd Mayweather, when they used to criticize him, he used to say, yo, boxing is about hit and not get hit. That's what it's about. And right now, Shakur Stevenson is the least hit fighter per round in boxing. He's the least hit fighter. You see? So, Straight Nick, you're saying you can't compare Shakur to Floyd. I absolutely can, because Floyd Mayweather was the best defensive fighter of his era, and Shakur's the best defensive fighter of this era. Floyd Mayweather was the guy that was the hardest to get hit, and Shakur's now the guy who's the hardest to get hit. Of course I can compare them. That's a reasonable comparison. Neither guy was getting hit. If you don't like the comparison, but you can't disregard that I'm spitting facts. They're both the best defensive fighter of their era. They're both the hardest guys to get hit during the time that they were active. Hannibal, Coach Calvin said it best. Shakur won't let us do what we do. And that's a fact. And Coach Cal also acknowledged that he don't want to fight with Shakur. He acknowledged it. Boxing highlight. Floyd fought legends and champions. Shakur hasn't fought anyone of that caliber. Definitely can't compare them. What you're doing is comparing opponents. I'm not comparing opponents. But we also got to keep in mind, guys don't want to fight Shakur. Back then, it was an era where fighters were fighting each other. The best were fighting the best. We not in that era. It's not Shakur's fault if guys don't want to fight him. Look at all the big names, all the best fighters. They was all calling out Floyd Mayweather. They all wanted to fight Floyd Mayweather. Now you tell me what top level fighters calling for Shakur. Just put it like that. Shakur can only fight the people who's willing to fight him. It's just that simple, my peoples. Black Jericho, Shakur can only fight the best who's available. That's facts. If people don't want to fight him, how are you going to fight them? You can't force them to get in the ring with him. Boxing highlights, bro. But it's easy to look impressive against subpar competition. Come on, boxing highlights. Oscar Valdez is subpar competition. Jamel Herring is subpar competition. De Los Santos is subpar competition. That would be hater mode for them to. Those guys are really, really good fighters. For you to say that they're subpar, that's just hating on Shakur. They not subpar. Valdez is a multi-division champion, a two-time champion at 135. That's disrespecting him to say that he's subpar. Shakur makes him look subpar because he's that good. Instead of hating on his opponents, we could just give flowers to Shakur. Go junkie. Hit and don't get hit. Haven't seen it yet. See what I'm saying? Yo, it's that simple. The stats. You see, while we can discredit opponents and hate and say all these things, all we gotta say is this. The facts. The facts. Shakur is the least hit fighter in boxing. Just like Floyd Mayweather was the least hit fighter in boxing. When you want to get into specific opponents, you tell me who wants to fight Shakur out of the best out there. None of them want to fight Shakur. And one way or another, they have all made that clear, my peoples. They have all made it clear. Every fighter out there has made it clear that they don't want to fight Shakur. Look at the tape. Look at the interviews. Teofimo don't want to fight Shakur. Ryan Garcia don't want to fight Shakur. Tank Davis don't want to fight Shakur. He's made that real obvious. Devin Haney vacated all of his titles to avoid fighting Shakur. There's a reason why nobody wants to fight this guy. There's a reason why nobody wants to take his titles. Because they can't, and they know it. MD, I agree. These guys are nowhere near the competition that Mayweather had. Are you being serious? Bro, Am I being serious about what? I never said that they were near the competition. What I'm trying to tell you is that Mayweather fought guys who wanted to fight him. Look at this, look at this. Zab Judah was calling out Floyd Mayweather. He got that fight. Shane Mosley was calling out Mayweather. He got that fight. Oscar De La Hoya was calling for Mayweather. Miguel Cotto was calling for Mayweather. Even Juan Manuel Marquez, who moved up 2 divisions, was calling for Floyd Mayweather. That's what y'all don't understand. Fighters didn't fear Floyd. They wanted to fight him. They fear Shakur because they don't want to take that L. They don't want to fight him. Come on now. What y'all not understanding about guys wanted to fight Floyd, they didn't want to fight Shakur. You see? So instead of you focusing on, well, Shakur ain't fought nobody, you tell me who wants to fight Shakur. Go ahead, MD. You tell me who have you seen call Shakur out. Because he's called out all of them. He made it clear that he want to fight all of them. But y'all tell me who wants to fight Shakur. Y'all tell me. Boxing highlights. Those are legends. And you talking about Valdez and Herring. Well, Valdez and Herring are the guys who had the balls to get in the ring with Shakur. Your favorite fighters in the 135 divisions, they scared to death of Shakur. What can he do? How you going to fight them? MD, didn't he back out against Tank? Bro, now you either delusional or you lying. Tank Davis never wanted to fight Shakur. When the negotiation fell through with Lomachenko, Shakur said, send the contract. I'ma sign it. Send it. They didn't send no contract. They didn't want to fight Shakur. Even Coach Cal said, nah, we don't want to fight Shakur. So, nah. But you're asking if Shakur backed out of a fight with Tank, like where does that question even come from? Where have you ever seen that? Like that's something that Tank Davis fans made like out of thin air. Like where does that question even come from? So I ask you, everybody who says Shakur ain't fought nobody, y'all tell me who you have seen trying to fight Shakur. Who? That's all I'm asking you. That's all I'm asking. I believe that you heard that, but you heard that from a Tank Davis fan who made it up out of thin air. Tank Davis never tried to make a fight with Shakur. Shakur was the one pushing for that fight, and Tank Davis wasn't having it. He don't want to fight Shakur. Devin Haney don't want to fight Shakur. Teofimo don't want to fight Shakur. Rollies don't want to fight Shakur. Ryan don't want to fight Shakur. What y'all want Shakur to do, my brother? Troy Back, you're saying Devin beat Shakur, but when Shakur became his mandatory, he dropped all of his belts and ran to the 140 division. I don't know how you figure that. Scared to death. Literally ran from the division to not fight Shakur. I don't know how you came up with that. MD, because he doesn't draw a big crowd. That's cap. That's super cap. Because it's not about crowd, it's about ratings. And Shakur has the highest ratings of all fighters on ESPN. And there's a lot of fighters and a lot of champions still fighting on ESPN. Yet Shakur got more ratings than all of them. People want to watch Shakur. What y'all don't understand is that Shakur either has fans or haters. There's no in between. Just like Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather had fans and haters. That there was no in between with Floyd Mayweather. Same thing with Shakur Stevenson. People want to watch Shakur. King of B-More, Rolly hurt my feelings. It's like he doesn't even try. He needs to go back to basics. Rolly's, man, is that, to be honest, Rolly's is a guy who can hit very hard, but he's not that talented like those other guys. He don't have that type of talent. He just a hard puncher, and if he catch you, he's gonna hurt you. He's gonna hurt you. But he don't have that type of talent. The Mexican G, Shakur couldn't even sell out his hometown. People were leaving the stadium last time he fought. Look at that. Hater mode. So, you see, this is the reason, y'all don't even realize, but Shakur haters are the reason why the best fighters can duck him. Because they can say, no, look, people don't want that fight. People don't want it. He not putting butts in seats. So it's like, y'all give these fighters an excuse to duck Shakur. Give them an excuse to duck him. Boxing highlight. Man, Rolly's got a good 1-2 though. He can definitely KO Ryan. I don't think he's gonna beat Ryan, bro. I don't think he's gonna beat him. I mean, anything can happen in boxing. If he catch him with a big shot, he can hurt him. He could get him out of there. But I don't see him beating Ryan, bro. I don't see him. I honestly don't see him. Of course he's hating. Of course. You could see. Yo, listen. Shakur haters, I recognize him from a mile away. You start hating on his opponents. You start talking about he don't put butts in seats. Like, that's crazy. Only haters bring up fans not going to see them. Only haters do that. You see, that's the difference between haters and people who just want the best fights. Like, I want to see Shakur fight the best. So I'll make a video, yo, Tank needs to fight Shakur. Shakur needs to fight Teofimo. Meanwhile, the haters will sit there, nah, is that Shakur don't put butts in seats and Shakur doesn't bring a crowd. Like, what are you talking about? What the hell do you even care about that? Y'all not going to get a paycheck. Nobody's going to send you a paycheck whether a crowd goes or not. Fighters need to worry about that, not you and me, my peoples. That's like Errol Spence fans where y'all was talking about Bud is not putting butts in seats. Why should Crawford get an opportunity? He's not filling up arenas like Errol Spence. Then look, he got pummeled. So, what is you like? That's why new boxing fans and social media boxing fans, y'all make crazy arguments. Like, why do we even care how many people go watch a fighter? Isn't it about the best fighting the best? Don't you want Shakur and Tank to fight each other? If Shakur and Tank fight each other, they're going to fill out the arena. They're going to sell a bunch of pay-per-views. So why is you bringing up, oh, nah, he didn't fill out the arena in this fight? That's some more hater shit. Do you want the fights or not? Do we want Shakur Stevenson to fight the best? Or do we not want him to fight the best? Do we want to have excuse? MD, you're saying, no, it's about money nowadays. It's always been about money. But the point is that before, fans was just talking about the best fighting the best. Y'all talking about who, y'all want to argue about money. Like, none of us is going to get a check. None of us is going to get paid off for this. I never understood why y'all want to argue about money and about who put butts in seats. I don't care about that. I don't care about who's putting butts in seats. I don't care about who's getting the biggest payday. I want to see the best fight the best. That's it. I want to see the best fighters fight the best fighters while y'all arguing about butts and seats and money. Like somebody going to send you a paycheck. Come on now. Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis are going to sell out an arena. They're going to sell mad pay-per-views. So what does it matter whatever amount of seats Shakur sold in another fight? You think if Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis fight each other, the arena's going to be empty because it's Shakur? Is that what you think is going to happen? Come on, bro. Come on. You're saying, look, MD, you're saying we are just explaining to you why they won't fight him. So I ask you once again, my brother. So are you saying if Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson fight, the arena's going to be empty? Is that what you're saying? Do you think, look how simple it is. Look how simple it is. Do you think Pitbull was selling out arenas before he fought Tank Davis? Most people never even heard of Pitbull when he fought Tank Davis. Make that make sense. Was Mario Barrios selling out arenas before he fought Tank Davis? Make that make sense. Most of y'all never even heard of Mario Barrios before he fought Tank Davis. He was fighting in small little venues before fighting Tank Davis. Mario Barrios was selling out less seats than Shakur Stevenson. He fought Tank Davis, and they did very good. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about, my peoples? When you bring up seats, that's cap. Because if Tank Davis fights Shakur, that's not going to matter. They're still going to fill out the arena. They're still going to fill it out. And when Shakur Stevenson fights, y'all be the first ones tuning in and watching. MD, you watch every one of Shakur's fights. You watch them. So if you're watching him, and when he fight Tank Davis, you're going to watch, what does it matter what happened in the other fights? That's irrelevant. Tank Davis, whenever he fight, he's going to fill out the arenas. He filled out arenas with guys you never heard of. El Androide Garcia, Dominican dude that he beat who moved up from 130, you ain't never heard of that dude. You never heard of him before he fought Tank. They still did good. Their numbers was good. So how is it that Tank Davis fight a bunch of guys that you never even heard of, and that's good, but if he fights Shakur, they not going to sell? Tank is not going to fight him because he don't sell, and he fight guys you never heard of? That's cap, bro. That's giving Tank an excuse to duck Shakur. That's the way that you formulate it so that you can give him a good excuse to duck. The Mexican G, I ain't never watched a Shakur fight. I'm not even going to respond to that, B. I'm not even going to respond to that. You know so much about Shakur, but you never watched this fight. Make that shit make sense. OT, it's the promoter's job to fill the seats. The fighters dictate the price of the seats. Not necessarily, not always. That's going to depend on what kind of deal they have. Hannibal, Shakur never put rehydration clause on his opponents. That's a dig at Tank Davis, Mr. Rehydration clause. Black Jericho, how you ain't never seen a fight, but you over here talking down on the man? Man, you know the Mexican G cap. This dude watches every single Shakur fight from beginning to end. He's glued to his television. But he got to hate on Shakur, so he got to say obvious lies. I seen highlights. Yeah, all right. Straight cap. Black Jericho. That's you. A lot of people were looking forward to Shakur versus Kid Austin. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people wanted to see that fight. And I know Shakur was going to make it look easy. Kid Austin wasn't ready for that type of smoke. He was going to get embarrassed out there. Troy Bott. Fighters sell the fights, not the promotion. That's a fact. That's a fact. Ratch. That's why I don't talk much about Shakur. But it makes my point. He too boring. You see, but I want you to think about this, Ratch. When you say Shakur is too boring, that's your opinion, my brother. And I respect it. But there's also people who enjoy the sweet science and enjoy watching them. I enjoy watching Shakur. I like to see him use the footwork. Put his right foot outside of the guy's left foot and catch him to the body. Step back, boom, and catch him. I enjoy watching the sweet science. I enjoy watching them miss and making them pay. So there's two sides, you know, the people that find them boring and the people who enjoy the sweet science. There's two sides of it. Everybody doesn't find Shakur boring. MD, I just remember him dashing around that ring against Dos Santos. It was horrible. Exactly. But you don't remember him putting all types of hands on Valdez. Putting all types of hands on Jamel Herring. You see? You only remember what you can use to hate on him. But you don't remember when he put hands on somebody, beat him up, beat up an undefeated champion. You don't really remember that. You don't bring that up. QT. Even in the Edwin fight, Shakur had the guy landing only 40 punches. A pro fighter landing 40 punches, that's how confused Edwin was. And of course, nobody's ever going to admit that Shakur literally had a broken hand and fought with one hand and just found a way to win. No. Nobody's going to say, yo, he had a broken hand, he found a way to win. It's more about hating. It's more about, he looking at a negative angle, as opposed to Edwin De Los Santos are very good fighters that a lot of fighters are ducking him. A lot of fighters don't want to fight De Los Santos, and Shakur beat him with one hand. Y'all don't want to see that, though. See? Shakur is one of the best fighters in the game. There's a reason why nobody want to fight him, my people. There's a reason. MD, you're saying you're not hating, but you're bringing up his opponents, and when you bring up his opponents, I just ask you one question. Okay, my brother, he don't got the best resume, the best opponents. Who do you see that wants to fight him? I just say, tell me that. Alvin, hard worker Rain. Tank won with one hand too. Tank won with one hand too. He beat Pitbull with one hand. That's a fact. The Mexican G. The broken hand was bullshit. You see, it's all about hating on Shakur. Yo, everything that could be an argument in Shakur's favor, you make a crazy argument about it. Now you're saying, though, like, how is it that you never watched Shakur, but you know so much about him? Like, do you watch everything about him? You watch everything about him, but you never watch his fights. but you know about his hands, you know about his opponents, you know about everything. Come on, bro. Come on now. Chris Fontaine. It's a major reason nobody wants to fight him. I keep asking everybody, my brother. I keep asking. Who do y'all see calling out Shakur? Since you say Shakur ain't fight nobody, who are the somebodies that want to fight him? That's what I want to see. Nah, Shakur has hand problems. I mean, the Mexican G is going to go against Shakur no matter what. So he can't even admit that Shakur had issue with his hands. Fighters have to get physical before fights. He wouldn't have been allowed to fight with a broken hand. No, he broke his hand during the fight. Einstein, come on now, bro. He broke his hand. He caught him with a shot, and that's it. It was a wrap. That's happened. Even in the last fight, he had to put his hand in ice. It's already well known that Shakur got a bad hand. That's already well known. Come on, man. Chris Fontaine and Kid Austin was trolling. He didn't want to fight for real. I mean, listen, I think that Kid Austin, his father almost talked him into a beating. Because it was his father. Talking. You know, you can't put out checks that your son ain't going to be able to cash. His son was going to get beat up and dominated, embarrassed. So they lucky that he felt ill or whatever happened, and that fight didn't take place. MD. No. This was... What the... God dang. So, MD. No, this was before the De Los Santos fight that he was injured. Yeah, but even in his last fight, he got hurt. In his last fight? John Parham. Is his hands going to be an issue in the future? I mean, we're going to see. We're going to find out because Shakur Stevenson, he's had some situations. We're going to see. But you got to remember, man, Floyd Mayweather fought the second half of his career with hand issues. The second half of his career, when he beat most of the big names, he had hand issues. Roach, is there any boxer out there now that you think can beat Shakur? I mean, anything can happen in boxing. In the 135 division, I don't see nobody beating Shakur. In the 140 division, I don't see nobody beating Shakur. If he was to move up to 147, then that's different. Because in 147, there's going to be guys that will be a lot bigger than him. So I have to consider it, but he's far from 147. He's multiple divisions away from there. And, you know, if he goes to 147, it's going to be what? In 5 years, 6 years? So I can't really talk about that division. But at 135 and 140, I don't see nobody beating Shakur. Which is the reason why nobody wants to fight him. That's the reason why nobody want to fight him. Troy Back, Loma beat Shakur. Now, you say that Loma beat Shakur. He could have fought him, and he chose not to. I'm going to remind you, Lomachenko and Shakur Stevenson was both in top rank. And, yo, they tried to make that fight, and Lomachenko refused. Shakur was calling him out like, yo, let's fight. Neither one of them had an opponent. Loma didn't want to fight him. So, you see, the fighters people say will beat Shakur don't want to fight him. So, you guys have more hopes for those fighters. You're more confident about those fighters than those fighters are about themselves beating Shakur. You saying Lomachenko beat Shakur, Lomachenko don't believe you. He don't believe you. Hannibal. I still have Shakur beating Tank, but anything can happen. You're right. In boxing, anything can happen. Tank Davis has that power, but we have to say it, my peoples. We have to say it. We saw the fight Lamont Roach gave Tank Davis. That was a fight. That was a fight. Lamont Roach has one loss. To who did Lamont Roach lose? Jamel Herring. The same guy that my boy the Mexican G was discrediting earlier is the only guy to beat Lamont Roach. Ain't that crazy? Talk to me, the Mexican G. Jamel Herring, the only guy to beat Lamont Roach, is a bum? You see? You got to check yourself, my guy. You got to check yourself. Alvin Hardworker Rain, you're saying it's about the money. Tank Davis will get his higher career payday if he fights Shakur. Devin Haney will get his highest career payday if he fights Shakur. They will get the most money they ever got for fighting Shakur. They don't want to fight him. Straight Nick, here we go with the Lamont BS again. Well, Jamel Herring is a bum and he beat Lamont Roach? Ask Lamont Roach if Jamel Herring is a bum. Ask Jamel Herring. Ask Lamont Roach, yo, Lamont, Jamel Herring, the only guy to beat you, do you think he's a bum? It's just simple logic, my peoples. It's real simple logic. No. Shakur didn't just beat Jamel Herring. He stopped him in 10 rounds and put a beating on him. So look at this. Look at this. Lamont Roach, who we saw the fight he had versus Tank, the Mexican G says he got lucky. You see the Mexican G, how you talk like a fan instead of just being honest? Like a hater, bro. A guy's a bum, but all of a sudden he beat Jamel Herring. I mean, he beat Lamont Roach, and now you're saying Lamont Roach is lucky. Do you ever give fighters flowers if they got beat by somebody you don't like? Every time somebody you don't like, get beat or beat them, you turn them into a bum automatically? Come on, bro. Hannibal, John Parham, I hope so. Roach, I'm just happy it's not just only about heavyweights anymore. That's facts. In fact, at this point, the heavyweight division is not really as deep as it used to be. Pause. Shakur is mediocre at best. Barrios will stop Shakur. My God. Shakur hater mode 100%. Shakur's mediocre. Like, come on, my peoples. What kind of boxing fans are we when you say a 3-division champion, a unified champion, an undefeated fighter that everybody's ducking is mediocre? Devin Haney dropped all his titles and ran from the division because he didn't want to face a mediocre fighter. Like, how much sense do you really make? Is facts? You really turning your opinion into a fact? We're going to have to... Do I need to pull out the dictionary and show you what's the difference between an opinion and a fact? Because you're saying Shakur is mediocre. That's your opinion, and it's a horrible, horrible opinion. Horrible opinion, my brother. Like, what are we doing here? And you know what's funny about that? When you say stuff like that Shakur is mediocre, find one world champion, one champion caliber trainer who agrees with you. Nobody agrees with you. Nobody in boxing is saying that. That shows you, that proves to you that you're a hater. You're a Shakur hater. There is not one person, not one champion in boxing that will ever say that. That right there shows you. You're a hater, or you just don't know what you're talking about, my brother. To say that Shakur's mediocre, you're embarrassing yourself, bro. You're embarrassing yourself. Don't do it to yourself like that. Until Shakur fights someone notable, I'm not going to side. I mean, you could have your opinion. All I'm telling you is that your opinion is not going to match the opinion of no fighter, no trainer, no champion. Nobody in the business of boxing is going to agree with you. Only Shakur haters in comment section of social media is going to agree with you. Only people who never laced on a pair of gloves in their life will agree with you. Everybody else understands. Any fighter, any boxer at any level understands that Shakur's an elite level fighter and one of the best of the era. So you embarrass yourself when you say crazy stuff like that. Shakur's mediocre. Come on, bro. Superman, salute my G. Bam. Appreciate you dropping in, bro. Troy back. Andre Ward says Shakur is great. Is that Shakur is great? Shakur's a great fighter. Shakur is a great fighter. Like, there's no getting around that. Like, how can... Okay, Straight Nick, 2-time Golden Glove champ. If you're talking about yourself as a 2-time Golden Glove champ, were you mediocre? Because that's the amateurs. So you didn't make it, you didn't become a champion as a professional? That means that you're mediocre. You were mediocre. Then you must have been mediocre, because if you didn't become a champion, Shakur's a 3-division champion and a unified champion, what do you do as a professional? You must have been really mediocre then. Are you going to keep the same energy for yourself that you keep it for a world champion? Come on now. Troy back. Don't use the word elite. Shakur great, not elite. Of course he's elite. If you don't see that he's elite, well, I guess eventually you're gonna have to understand it. People understand that he's an elite level fighter. One of the best of this era. The best defensive fighter of this era. The guy who gets hit the least of this era. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. I was shocked because these hands was registered. I don't know what that means by that. I don't know what you mean by that. But if you're saying that Shakur's mediocre or undefeated world champion, then I want to see where you rate yourself based on your pro career. If you even had a pro career, where do you rate yourself? Max 7 Life. Shakur is a great boxer, not a great fighter. There's a difference. Tank, a great fighter. Boxer and fighter, that's really an opinion. That's an opinion. That's not a fact. You could put your own definition. If you want to put your definition, but it's about opinion. Shakur is definitely amongst the elite. And I keep asking everybody, my brothers and sisters, I keep asking everybody. I've been asking the Mexican G. I've been asking Straight Nick. I've been asking Troy back. I'm asking my peoples, which one of the best fighters of this era do you see calling out Shakur? Name them names, my peoples. Straight Nick, I appreciate it, my brother. I love going back and forth with y'all. Y'all know it's all respect. We all love the sport of boxing and we go at it. This is not one of them goofy ass lives where they just talking about the fighters that they like and no. We go at it. We trash talk each other. At the end of the day, it's all love. But again, my peoples, again, who are the fighters out there who are calling out for Shakur? The Mexican G says Shakur doesn't even beat Haney. Meanwhile, Devin Haney left the division to avoid fighting Shakur. Devin Haney ducked Shakur. So guess what, the Mexican G? Devin Haney don't believe you. Devin Haney don't believe you. Bill Haney don't believe you. Bill Haney was caught on camera saying, yo, nah, yeah, Shakur's him. Shakur's that guy. He don't believe you. Mag 7 Life, they only call Tank for the money. What you mean they only call Tank for the money? What you mean? You don't think that there's people out there who want to fight the best? There's people out there who want to fight the best, who want to say, yo, I beat the best. But you can't fight the best if the best don't want to fight you. We got to understand that. Roach said to Shakur, let's get it on. That's facts, but you got to remember, Roach is trying to get a rematch with Tank, and Shakur told him, yo, if they don't give you a rematch, I got a title shot for you. And Lamar Roach responded like, let's get it. So Troy back, when you say Roach called him out, that's a lie. That's a lie, my brother. Roach did not call Shakur out. Shakur told him, if you don't get a rematch, I got a title shot for you. And Roach was like, yeah, let's get it. So, come on now. He did not call out Shakur. Shakur offered him a title shot if he's not able to get the rematch. Roach, I just seen Haney hit the heavy bag. Looked like he was getting ready for a pillow fight at a sleepover. So, look, man. Devin Haney, he hasn't been the hardest puncher at any time in his career. But he's a very, no. I was going to say he's a very good boxer. He's a great boxer. He's a great boxer. He can box you. You know, Devin Haney, he just not a hard hitter. That's why I have that question mark with Devin Haney. He's going to fight, you know, Jose Ramirez got popped in both hands. So how is he going to react when he gets caught? Because he's going to get caught, right? We all know, I think we all agree right now that Jose Ramirez is a hard puncher, and Devin Haney's not going to knock him out. Devin Haney's going to have to beat him on points. 12 rounds. During a 12-round fight, Devin Haney's going to get hit at one point or another. So I'm wondering, how is he going to react when he eat a big shot from Jose Ramirez? Because, if you've been watching boxing long enough, you understand sometimes a guy take a nasty beating like the one Devin took from Ryan, and their punch resistance goes down. So we have to see how Devin Haney's going to react when he get hit. Max 7 Life. Man, we must have a different eyes, because I seen Shakur fight and I seen Tank fight. Shakur is not ready for Tank. I mean, that's your opinion, my brother. And Max 7 Life, I respect it. But I see Shakur Stevenson outboxing Tank. Simple as that. I see him outboxing Tank the way that Lamont Roach outboxed him in many rounds. Black Jericho, you don't need crazy punching power to whoop somebody. And we've seen that. Everybody should already know that. Everybody should understand that. How's Shakur going to act when he gets hit by Tank? We don't know. You could guess. Oh, he's going to go down, or we could guess. But at the end of the day, Shakur is the best defensive fighter in the game. What if Tank don't hit him? Let me ask you a question, Max 7 Life. How did Lamont Roach act when he got hit by Tank? And Lamont Roach is not a power puncher. He doesn't have a high knockout percentage. He stood there toe-to-toe and traded with Tank and got hit by Tank. He didn't go down. So, but all I'm saying is, Shakur Stevenson at this point, it's about 3 years straight trying to make a fight with Tank. Calling out a fight with Tank. Yet, Tank Davis don't want to make that fight. So 2 + 2 is 4. There's a reason why he don't want to make that fight. Think about why he don't want to make that fight, my peoples. The Mexican G. Haney had a terrible game plan against Ryan. He should have stuck and moved, trying to go toe-to-toe with Ryan. And you know what, the Mexican G, that's facts. He made a big mistake. He should never have went toe-to-toe with Ryan. And you know what? I don't like the fact that Devin Haney spent the whole training camp talking about, all you got is a left hook. All you got is a left hook, to only get beat up by that same left hook he was talking about. So, come on now. Devin Haney, in fact, there were rounds where he stood on the outside, used his jab, and he boxed him, and he won those rounds convincingly. But the moment he decided to trade blows, he was getting beat up. Why do you want to trade with a guy that hits a lot harder than you? 5'9" Leon, Roach walked through those punches. That's a fact. We watched Lamont Roach walking Tank down for 12 rounds. And whenever Tank stood his ground, Roach would trade with him. We saw it. We seen it. Max 7 Life. Roach and Tank grew up fighting each other. Shakur didn't. It doesn't matter. And when you say they grew up fighting each other, bro, they fought twice in the amateurs. They didn't grow up fighting each other. They fought twice in the amateurs. That's not growing up fighting each other. Tony Back. Abdullah Mason was available and willing to take the fight with Shakur. Instead, he opted for another. Oh, my God. This guy said Abdullah Mason. Bro, let me ask you a question. Can you show me a post? Can you show me anywhere where Abdullah Mason said that he's trying to fight Shakur Stevenson? Because now you cap. Abdullah Mason is a young fighter still in development, and he's going to be great. Don't get it twisted. Abdullah Mason is going to be one of the greats. But this guy's still being developed. Y'all got to chill out, my peoples. Abdullah Mason isn't even trying to get a title shot, bro. You see how crazy y'all sound? You ask, who Shakur beat? Who Shakur beat? Who Abdullah Mason beat? You don't keep that same energy, though. Who Abdullah Mason beat? You don't keep that same energy for him, right? You talking about, oh, Shakur, Abdullah Mason? No, bro. Relax, slow it down. Abdullah Mason is a young fighter being developed. They not trying to fight for a title. His own father will tell you, yo, we're going up, and slowly but surely, and we trying to get a title. Yo, Abdullah Mason isn't even trying to go for a title shot in 2025, man. They developing and get him ready for 2026. He's going to fight the highest rated contenders and hopefully get a title shot. But you wilding out talking about Abdullah Mason was ready to fight Shakur next. You wilding. This kid is being developed. He a special talent. But he's in a developmental stage, man. Don't bring up Abdullah Mason talking about, oh, he wanted to fight Shakur. That's cap. That never happened. You made that up out of thin air, bro. I love Dula. That's cap. He don't want to fight Gervonta. Listen, Abdullah Mason is gonna be a great fighter, but this kid is still being developed. He's still fighting lower level opponents. You're not just gonna take a kid like that and throw him against the wolves with the champions just like that because fans think, oh, he's nice. Put him in there with the champion. Nah, that's not the way you do it, bro. They developing him still. Abdullah Mason and his team, they not trying to fight no champion right now. That's crazy. 2025, they're going to keep developing. And next year, we're probably going to see him go for a run where they're going to try to get a title shot. That's not going to happen in 2025. Troy Back. I don't know the link. Boxing Eagle has it. Shakur is an elite fighter, has been for years. Of course, Shakur is an elite fighter. Only his haters will say otherwise. Listen, it's an easy way to know who's the elite. Ask the fighters themselves. All you got to do is ask the fighters, the trainers, strength and conditioning coaches. Ask them. It's only boxing fans who don't like Shakur who can admit the level of greatness that he displays in the ring. Then everybody else understand what Shakur brings to the table. This guy can fight. And he's going to go down. I promise you, my people. I got the receipts, by the way. That's why I love going live, because this stays up and it's a receipt. So then I can go back and show you all the people who say Shakur, he's not all that, he's overrated. Yo, years down the line, Shakur is going to be recognized as one of the greatest fighters of this era. I promise you that. I guarantee you that. If you don't believe me, eventually you're going to have to say, damn, man, this nigga Jay told me that Shakur was him, and I didn't want to believe him. I'm trying to tell you. You don't want to believe me? Cool. Don't take my word for it. When the time comes, you're going to find out. And then I hope you give me my flowers and be like, damn, Jay told me. It's true. Jay told me that Shakur was that dude. You got the greatest fighters out there. Some of the greatest fighters out there telling you, yo, Shakur is him. Go look at Floyd Mayweather. Look at what Floyd Mayweather has to say about Shakur. Look at what Andre Ward has to say about Shakur. Look at what Bowman has to say about Shakur. Look at the best people in boxing, what they have to say about Shakur. Don't take my word for it. Ain't none of the best people in boxing saying that Shakur's overrated. Ain't none of them saying that Shakur's not elite. It's only Shakur haters that say crazy stuff like that. Like, that's wild. Roach, Tank ain't got that dog in him anymore, I think. He wants to retire already. You know, I think he do got that dog in him, but the fact that he's bringing up retirement, that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign, to be honest. Troy Back. My brother, I love Shakur. The sweet science of him. Ward, Regal, Loma. That's what I'm trying to tell you, my people. Shakur Stevenson is an elite level fighter and just one of the best out there. This guy's untouchable. He just doesn't get hit. And you know what? The fact that he doesn't get hit, it makes people hate him more, because they want to see him get hit. They want to see him go down. They want to see him be in a rock'em sock'em type of fight where he take a lot of punishment. And that's just not going to happen. You didn't see it with Floyd. You're not going to see it with Shakur. And as soon as people say, well, Floyd fought better fighters. Okay, name the better fighters who want to fight Shakur. Everybody stay quiet. Listen, my peoples, I've been live right now for an hour and a half. For an hour, I've been asking everybody, name the great fighters who are calling out Shakur. Name the great fighters who want to fight Shakur. I still haven't seen nobody name anybody. Anybody. Troy Back, elite is different topic. It has to do with resume only. That's not true. You see, whether you're elite or not is not about the resume. The resume is to prove to you that he's elite because you're not ready to accept it. But those who know, who understand, already know that he's elite regardless of the resume. You might need the resume to prove to you that he's elite. I don't need it. The resume that he has proves to me already. See, look at this. You say it's the resume. Without the hating, without hating on his opponents, without your opinion, without injecting opinion, Shakur is in his mid-20s. He's a 3-division champion and a unified champion. How could we say that's not elite? Shakur Stevenson is one of the most accomplished young fighters right now. That's pretty elite, if you ask me, brother. That's pretty elite. Now, it's 20 of us up in here right now. The simple question, and here's the survey for you. Answer this question with one simple word. Tank or Shakur? If they fight, who do you got? Tank or Shakur? No hating, no explanation. Just one name, my peoples. Tank or Shakur? Chris Fontaine, Shakur. 1 vote for Shakur. Troy Back, out willing to debate you on elite. We can debate about that. I'll be happy to. Roach, Shakur. Black Jericho, Shakur. Corey Ellis, Shakur. Troy Back, Shakur. Eduardo Flores, Shakur. Now imagine, how could Shakur not be that good, but so many people believe he beats Tank? Tank Davis is a top-level fighter. He's an elite-level fighter. A knockout artist. The hardest puncher in the 135 division. Yet a bunch of people think Shakur beats him. Roach, and I love Tank. Tank is a great fighter. Part of the reason why I think that Shakur beats Tank is because Tank almost always, look at the cards. He almost always gets behind on the cards. But it doesn't matter because he's going to knock him out later on. Look at his last fight before Roach, Frank the Ghost Martin. Tank Davis lost all 3 of the first rounds on all 3 judges' scorecards. All 3 rounds, the first 3 rounds, he lost on all 3 judges' scorecards versus Frank Martin. So there's my point, my peoples. If you look back, versus Barrio, he lost some early rounds. He lost a lot of rounds before he knocked out Leo Santa Cruz. So Tank Davis is a slow starter, loses rounds, but that doesn't really matter because he's going to put you to sleep. But what happens if he loses early rounds and he got to catch up? We saw it with Lamar Roach. A controversial draw where some people saw Roach winning that fight. I saw Roach winning it. And I respect everybody who says they see Tank winning it or they saw a draw. I saw Roach winning that fight. Corey Ellis, boring. Tank elite, he should make the fight exciting. Come on now. We have to understand Tank Davis is a power puncher. Once he figures you out, he's going to step in to try to trade with you, try to walk you down. Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson is not a boring fight. It's not a boring fight. That's a great fight. And a lot of people want to see it. But Tank Davis don't want to fight him. That's just the reality, my peoples. Tank Davis has shown us that he don't want to fight Shakur. Devin Haney showed us that he don't want to fight Shakur. Teofimo Lopez don't want to fight Shakur. Rollies don't want to fight Shakur. Ryan Garcia don't want to fight Shakur. So how do you beat people that don't want to fight you, my peoples? How can you do it? You can't beat somebody who don't want to climb in the ring with you, bro. You can only beat the people who's willing to fight you. That's it. And everybody who's been in front of Shakur got beat. That's just simple logic. And Shakur has literally called out everybody. Has literally expressed interest in wanting to fight all of them. And all of them, one way or another, let us know that they don't want to fight Shakur. Mark Cole, Shakur unless he slips and let's Tank in. I agree with you because anything can happen in boxing. Salute, Mark Cole. Anything can happen in boxing, and we know Tank Davis can change that fight with one punch. He can change the outcome of a fight. Eduardo Flores. It's like when Marquez fought Floyd. No counterpuncher wants to fight Shakur, Mayweather type of fighter. They will move all night and outgoing. And the viewers are extremely bored all night. Not necessarily. Because it's like I said, if you look at Oscar Valdez and you look at Jamel Herring, it wasn't that type of fight. They try to put pressure on Shakur, and Shakur beat him up. Beat him up, my people. Mark Cole, I want to see Tank and Devin. Tank and Devin, that's a fight that I wanted to see as well, but with Devin being at 140, you know. And now we got Shakur at 140, so Tank Davis is just, he not trying to fight none of them dudes. He allowed them to leave the division. Marquez versus Floyd was a masterclass. Floyd cooked him. Cooked him. John Parham, Tank cooking Devin in 7 or 8. To be honest, I believe it. Because, you know, if Ryan Garcia beat him up that bad, Tank Davis is going to cook him. Tank Davis is going to be on chef mode. Mark Cole, Shakur can box. I think people underestimate Shakur, man. And, you know, the magic question, who Shakur beat or who he fought. But who wants to fight Shakur? Who have we seen calling out for Shakur? We haven't seen nobody. You can only fight the people who want to fight you. You can only beat the people who get in the ring with you. So Shakur Stevenson, when the opportunity comes, we're going to see it. We're going to see it. And you know what's going to happen? He's going to beat all these guys, and people are going to say, yeah, he beat him, but it was boring. He beat him, but he was running. The same kind of thing they used to say about Floyd Mayweather. Ooh, Tank versus Kesan, I like that fight. You know what? The way that Tank Davis has been talking, I feel like he's most likely to give Kesan Davis a shot than give it to Shakur. Because it's that he just made it so obvious that he don't want to fight Shakur Stevenson. To me, he's made it real obvious that he's not trying to make that fight. But I believe that Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson can be one of the biggest fights in boxing. That's like a blockbuster type of fight. Because you gotta remember, my people, fans are divided. Everybody has their own opinion about who's gonna win that fight. But nobody wants that smoke, Marco. You're right. 5'9" Leon. You think Kesan could beat Ryan? Kesan and Ryan Garcia? I think Kesan Davis could beat him. Right now, Kesan Davis, he's a tough opponent for everybody. I think Kesan Davis is a 50-50 fight with Teofimo Lopez. That's a tough fight. And even with Tank Davis, that's a 50-50 fight. But outside of that, it's tough. I don't see nobody beating Kesan Davis. And I'm talking about because I already know Kesan and Shakur, they never going to fight. Like, there's no point in even entertaining that conversation. They already made it obvious. Look, we like brothers. We've shared all this time. We're on a personal level, close. They're never going to fight. So there's no point in entertaining Kesan versus Shakur. But Kesan versus Tank, I think that's a 50-50 fight. And Kesan, I think he put the beating on Ryan. Infamous AWJ, what's the deal, my G? Appreciate you dropping in, my brother. Did you put in your prediction? Did you vote? Who you got? Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson. Who you got? Dilbert, no one gonna beat Ryan. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, Ryan Garcia is always gonna have that left hook that can change the outcome of a fight. But, you know, you just never know. What I don't like about Ryan Garcia, man, is that defense, man. You gonna be fighting with that chin like this, like please hit me right here. That's that weakness, man. That's the only kink in Ryan Garcia's armor, the defense. Because if you think about it, when it comes to the offense, Ryan Garcia has the firepower that can hang with the best of them. With the best of them. One of the fastest and most accurate left hooks in the game, Ryan Garcia. And he can punch. He got power in both hands. But that defense, man, that defense. We saw it with Tank Davis. He got counterpunched. Both of the times when he got dropped to the jaw piece, right in the kisser, and we got dropped to the body, both of those were counterpunches. Ryan Garcia is susceptible to being hit very hard by a counterpunch when it's those guys at that level. Mark Cole, Tank's ring generalship is a little tougher than Keyshawn. I think, I don't know. I'm not sure about that, my brother, because if you look at Kesan Davis in his last fight, in his last couple of fights, that ring generalship, yo, he at this point, he's manipulating his opponents, bro. Like, he'll go in, step in with a jab, and slightly push you to the left, and bing, 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 let his hands go. Like, he's actually maneuvering his opponents around and gaining position on them. Like, Kesan Davis in his last couple of fights, he's been looking different, bro. He's stepping up big time. Infamous AWJ. Just because Roach, I can't say Tank beat Shakur. I can see how he loses, though. That Tank, that mean, he 50-50 too. Infamous AWJ. I'm going to be honest with you. They are all lucky Ryan lacks the skills like Tank, Shakur, and those guys because his talent and attributes are the scariest in boxing. You see, the thing about Ryan Garcia is that he has that height and that reach and that offensive power. It's just the defense, bro. The defense is his weakness. When it's a good counterpuncher, they're going to sit there, wait for Ryan, and just catch him with a nasty shot. Mark Cole, Tank already showed he keeps his right low when he hooks. I give Tank the ups just on experience. Five Line Leon, yeah, I think Keyshawn has been training with Shakur and Bud, and he's been training with Bomac. Matter of fact, yo, and I said this before, if you look at Kesan Davis' last couple of fights, he's doing a lot of little things that look identical to what Crawford does. Identical. So, Kesan Davis, man, he a problem. He a problem. And he's just gaining that momentum. Now he's a world champion. He won in devastating fashion. Confident, young. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with Kesan Davis. Cito, what's the deal, my G? ¿Qué es lo que, manito? And I'm gonna tell you like this. Kesan Davis has also been calling out Tank Davis. That's why I tell people, look, Tank Davis, if you hear me talking about his skill set and what he can do in the ring, Tank Davis is a great fighter. But Kesan Davis calling for him. Shakur Stevenson calling for him. Devin Haney called for him. Teofimo Lopez called for him. When is Tank Davis going to fight one of the best at 135 and 140? When is he going to fight one of those guys? Is he not? And he's already talking about retirement without fighting any of them. Hasn't fought any of those guys, and he's already talking about retirement. That's crazy. Infamous AWJ. What scares me about Ryan is his speed, to be honest. I've never seen anyone that fast. I've seen anything like it. You literally can't see his punches in real time. That left hook, especially that left hook. Ryan Garcia's speed is special, especially at his size. At his size, you don't see that kind of hand speed. But again, it always goes back to the defense. No matter how fast you are, those elite level guys, they can time you. They can time you. They can counterpunch you. Big shot. We already saw it with Tank Davis. No, that's as long as Ryan Garcia, we don't get that defense. It's gonna be like that, bro. He's gonna be susceptible to being counterpunched. Mark Cole and Keyshawn's punching. I think Tank is having trouble in his camp. There's something going on with Coach Cal. In fact, I don't know if it's true, but I seen a video the other day where they said Coach Cal left the team. Or Coach Cal is not going to be part of that team anymore. So there could have been turmoil while, Tank was in training camp to fight Roach. That could have been an issue there. Especially you saw Tank Davis in the ring ignoring him. Tank ignored Coach Cal. Walked right past him like Coach was waiting to give him a dap or whatever. And Tank walked right past him. So that's not a good look. That can also mess with your concentration. This is the guy that's been with Tank Davis since he was a little kid. So, I don't know. It looked like there's something going on there, definitely. Corey Ellis, I think Keyshawn needs a couple more fights for experience. To be honest, man, I think he's ready to fight Tank right now. Right now. And I tell you that because Tank, we saw how he looked versus Roach. And Keyshawn, we saw how he looked in his last fight to win a title. So he got momentum on his side. I think he's ready right now. He could fight Tank Davis next. It's not going to happen, though. Tank is not trying to fight any of them dudes. And you know what? To be honest, I believe Tank Davis Lamar Roach deserves the rematch. He earned it. You got to give it to him. Five Line Leon, Tank made a video saying, Calvin ain't going nowhere. I got him tatted on me. That's Pops. That's good. And I hope that's the case. Maybe they was just mad because, if you think about it, even with your best friends, even with your family, there's a time that we could get mad at each other, not talk for a couple of days, and then we rocking with each other again. So hopefully that's the case. Because Coach Cal is the guy who developed Tank from zero and brought him all the way to where he's at today. So, I think maybe Black Jericho, I think they had a bad argument. Yeah, maybe they had a bad argument during training camp. They was mad at each other. But when people got that real love for each other, they get past that. And eventually they get close again. Black Jericho, Calvin probably said, I made you Tank. You ain't nothing without me. I'm not going to speculate what happened, but obviously there was some friction there. Five Line Leon, that's what Tank said, word for word. Marco, Keyshawn is ready for anybody. I believe it. I believe Keyshawn Davis, at this point, he got momentum on his side, confident, world champion. He ready for everybody. And he's calling out Tank aggressively. Keyshawn Davis is calling out Tank Davis and calling out Teofimo Lopez aggressively. He's all about that smoke. That's why I'm supporting Dana White and His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. Because once they get that TKO promotional company together, they're going to make the best fight the best. None of these goofy-ass arguments about, they're not fighting this guy because he's not putting butts in seats, and they're not fighting this guy because we protecting that O. None of that, my peoples. They're going to make the best fight each other. And they're going to take boxing back to like it was in the 90s. In the 90s, a lot of these guys lost their undefeated records while they were in their 20s, 28 years old, 29 years old. Why? Because they didn't wait till they was 50 years old to risk it. They risked it early. We got to see that now, man. Because like I said, Tank Davis, he's a great fighter. We all agree that he's a great fighter. We all agree that he's the hardest puncher in the 135 division. But goddamn, you're 30 years old, man. When are you going to fight the big names? When are you going to fight the guys that we want to see you in the ring with? 30 years old, talking about retirement. Are you never going to fight these guys? Infamous AWJ. Tank mentally pissing me off. Finding excuses not to fight people. Talking about he wants money when there's quite literally a ton of money for him to fight Shakur. Bro, Tank Davis would make a career payday, more money than he ever has, to fight Shakur. His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh is back in that fight. The only thing is that His Excellency, he's not a bullshitter. All that shit about send me 2 Ferraris if you even want me to go over there. They're not going to send you shit. They're going to pay you big money to fight. That's the way it go down. Troy back. In May, I'll be in DR, my brother. Hit me up. Hit me up. You never know. If you close by, we may link up and argue about boxing. Even if we see each other in person, we're going to argue about boxing, bro. So again, my peoples, listen, we have to, we already know what Tank Davis brings to the table. We already know that he's a cash cow. We want to see him fight the best guys already. We tired of him fighting the guys that we expect him to beat. Wade Maloney, if you so good, Tank fight the best, stop him running from Shakur. I mean, come on now. Come on now. I want to see Tank fight Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson. I want to see him fight these guys. I want to see it. Are we ever going to see it? Wayne Maloney, Tank fight bums. Now look, to be honest with you, he not fighting bums. The guys he's fighting are not bums. They're just not the best in the division. They're good fighters. Cause look, Frank Martin is a good fighter. Ryan Garcia is a good fighter. Pitbull's a good fighter. He's fighting good fighters, but he's not fighting the best. He's not fighting le creme de la creme. He's fighting the good fighters. We want to see him fight the best already. If we believe Tank is great, which we do, we want to see him fighting the best. And he's not doing that. You're 30 years old talking about retirement. And the best, and look, this is my problem and why I get mad at Tank. Bro, you're not fighting the best because you don't want to. All of them guys want to fight you. All of them guys have at one point or another said, I want to fight Tank. Devin Haney called out for Tank when he was at 135. Teofimo Lopez called out for Tank. Shakur Stevenson been calling out for Tank for the last 3 years. So, and you know what? Tank is one of the fighters who's in a unique position that he can fight whoever he wants. Why? Because he's the cash cow. Once you become a cash cow in the game of boxing, you get to pick your opponents. You fight whoever you want to fight. Tank is choosing not to fight these guys. He's choosing not to fight them. That's why I don't like it. Like, bro, you can fight whoever you want. Why are you not fighting these guys? Troy Back, thanks, brother. Would love to discuss what separate great fighters from elite fighters. Definitely we can chop it up when it comes to that. But I believe that Tank Davis, it's an exceptional talent. It's one of those special ones. But the point is, my peoples, even special fighters lose. It's almost like we've been brainwashed by Floyd Mayweather retiring undefeated that we feel like great fighters don't lose. But look at the history of boxing, bro. Muhammad Ali lost. Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, Duran, Tommy Hearns, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. Any great fighter that you mention from any era, they lost. The majority of the greatest fighters to ever laced on a pair of gloves lost. They risked it and lost. But now it's like, after the Floyd Mayweather era, if you lose, you're a bum. You're a hype job. You can't fight. You get immediately discredited. And that's crazy. That's crazy. Like, I'll give you an example. Look when Canelo lost to Floyd Mayweather. He got discredited. Oh, he's a hype job. He's a bum. And what happened with Canelo Alvarez after he lost to Floyd Mayweather? His star power went up. That's when he really exploded and became a superstar and ultimately widely recognized as the face of boxing. So losing to Floyd didn't stop him from becoming a superstar. And what happened? Look, he lost to Dimitri Bivol. And he's still the highest paid active fighter. Look at it. Look at the numbers. Nobody gets a bigger guaranteed purse than Canelo Alvarez. So did his stock fall after he lost to Bivol? No, it didn't. So we have to allow fighters to risk themselves. If you lose, you're still going to be a great fighter. You're still going to be a guy making a lot of money out there. Five Line Leon, Carrot Top became a household name after the Floyd fight. Infamous AWJ, people say he's taking the Floyd route when Floyd at one point fought everybody. Hence, Diego Corrales, before he became the cash cow and was picking. No, listen, Floyd Mayweather was a guy who was a great boxer from the first day he turned professional. An elite level guy who got a lot of hate from it. Listen, man, when you talk about the best fighters, they always have a bunch of haters. Name one great fighter, and I'll show you how they got mad haters. Look at Canelo Alvarez. Somebody went on this live earlier and said, yo, Canelo's overrated. What fighter doesn't have an entire fan base saying that they're overrated? Yo, you can go all the way back to Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali had people saying that he was overrated. And this dude's considered the greatest of all time, bro. Even Muhammad Ali had people saying that he was overrated. You imagine that? So when fighters are active and doing their thing, people who are fans of other fighters always say that they're overrated. Look, Crawford was called overrated in this same live. That's just how it goes. When you're great, people, your haters are gonna say that you're overrated. That's just the way that it is. Mark Cole, one thing I will say is Tank does have a tough beard. I've seen him eat some good shots, especially from Pitbull. Yo, Tank ate some monster shots from Pitbull, ate some monster shots from Ryan Garcia. He didn't even go nowhere. Didn't get wobbled, didn't get stunned. He can take a shot. Same thing with Canelo Alvarez. I've seen him eat some monster shots. Yo, in all three of those fights from Triple G, he ate some bombs that would have sent other people straight to Valhalla. And what happened? He ate those. Like, yo, you will land the biggest punch on Canelo Alvarez, and he'll eat that shit like a double-decker burrito. Easy work. Wayne Maloney, Canelo will lose to Crawford, guarantee. And Canelo be ducking fighters also, so he's not so great. Look at the resume, bro. Just look at the resume. Right now, I want you to think about this. And by the way, I agree. I'm going for Canelo to beat Crawford. I got Canelo beating Crawford. But I'm not a Canelo hater, so I got to point this out to you. Name one active fighter who beat more reigning world champions than Canelo Alvarez. Simple as that, my brother. So you can see. That's where you see greatness. Black Jericho, Canelo need PEDs. Mark Cole, Bivol is the boogeyman. Yo, Bivol is a 175-pounder. Canelo moved up to that division. He very small fighter. He very small at 168. He got beat. That don't take away. That's what I be trying to tell you, my peoples. A guy taking a loss doesn't take away from his greatness. Stop thinking that, well, he lost. He's not great because he lost. Nah, great fighters lose. Because great fighters, they risk it. They fight top-level competition over and over and over. And eventually they lose. That happens in boxing. It happens. Black Jericho, Tank was fine. He just got bested. I believe that. I believe that Roach beat him. I believe it. Wayne Maloney, small don't mean nothing. I seen big fighters lose too. I'm not saying that, but the guy moved up. How many fighters you've seen move up in divisions over and over and over, and eventually they get beat? We can go all the way back. Look at Tito Trinidad. Tito Trinidad was undefeated in the welterweight division. He kept moving up and up and up, and he got beat. Eventually, he got beat. And Crawford got skills. Yeah, but I told you, my brother, I'm expecting Crawford to beat him. But Crawford is taller than Canelo. He got more reach than Canelo. So what Canelo has is that he's physically, he got that stocky body. He's wider. But Crawford actually has physical advantages over Canelo. Canelo had no physical advantages over Bivol, who was way taller, had way longer reach. I just said Canelo will win. Nah, I got Crawford winning that fight. I got Crawford beating Canelo. What I said is that I got Crawford beating Canelo, but look at Canelo's resume. He's definitely a great fighter. And he's definitely going down as an all-time great. And he's been a pound-for-pound fighter. You don't get on the pound-for-pound list by being an average Joe, my brother. Look at everybody on the pound-for-pound list. Canelo was number one on the pound-for-pound list for like 2-3 years straight until he lost to Bivol. And what he had to do to get beat, move all the way up to 175. We've seen a lot of great fighters, my brother, keep moving up until eventually they get beat. We've seen it. When I said that, I wasn't trying to say Crawford is going to lose to Canelo. I believe because he has physical advantages over him, height and reach, he can move up and fight Canelo and beat him. John Parham, all boxing fans should visit my city, Louisville, Kentucky, and go to the Ali Museum and childhood home and gym. Great experience. Listen, man, anybody who has the possibility to go there, any boxing fan who's a true boxing fan should definitely go there. You know, if I ever have that opportunity, I promise you, I'm going to swing by. Bank OZ, Canelo smokes crawfish. Look, the fact that you use the word crawfish, you're already saying that you're a Crawford hater. Like, come on, bro. We're grown men out here, and you're calling them crawfish. You might as well just say, I don't like Crawford. I say only negative things about Crawford. And my brother, Bank OZ, I already know everything that you're going to say about Crawford before you even say it. Canelo smokes crawfish. Good stuff, champ. Cito, Canelo couldn't stop Madrimo. Canelo will drop Crawford. We're going to see it. We're going to see it. You know, it's reasonable for you to say that because, hey, okay, Crawford's moving up and all that good stuff. But we're going to see it. We're going to see it. I hope, my peoples, that after Canelo and Crawford fight, that next morning I'm going to be live. And I hope those people who said Canelo's going to walk him down and beat him and knock him out, I hope y'all internet all of a sudden ain't working the next day. Y'all better come see me, my peoples. Banco Z, you cool, man. Yo, I appreciate you dropping in, my brother. And you already know, be ready for the trash talking. You know, we respect each other, no disrespectful stuff, but we trash talking each other, my peoples. Yo, don't forget to hit that like button, my peoples. Don't forget to subscribe, man. Let's get it in, man. I'm already close to 1,000 subscribers. Let's just, listen, my peoples. This ain't no cap. When it comes to this boxing stuff and live and all this stuff, I am the best. I am him. I'm not popular. I'm not famous. None of that shit. But I'm going to be number one. You guys are just the first ones to be put on. But I promise you, I am him, my peoples. Real talk. Let's get it. Hit that subscribe. Hit that like button. But should fight Thurman. You know what? If I was Terence Crawford, I would not give Keith Thurman an opportunity. You know why? Because remember, when Keith Thurman was a champion, he did not give Terence Crawford an opportunity. Troy Back, you will be number one. Salute, my brother. That's facts. Let's speak it into existence, but we're going to make it happen. When Keith Thurman was a champion in the 147 division, he didn't give Terence Crawford an opportunity. Now, when Terence Crawford became undisputed, now Keith Thurman won a shot. Now you want a payday. So if I was Terence Crawford, I wouldn't give it to him. Be like, nah, bro, go kick rocks. When I was trying to fight you, you didn't. Yo, I'm going to tell you what's funny about Keith Thurman. When Terence Crawford moved up to 147, Keith Thurman was like, yo, I'm not going to fight him. He don't even got a title. Come see me when you get a belt. Then Crawford got a belt. What? He got a belt? Who he fought? Who he beat? I need $10 million to fight him. Did everything not to give him an opportunity. As soon as Bud became an undisputed champion, oh yeah, me and Crawford, that's the fight to make. Now you want an opportunity with the undisputed champ? Nah, you can't get it, son. Go kick rocks somewhere. But I will say, my peoples, I thought that Keith Thurman was done. That's real talk. And for him to come back after over a year of inactivity and put the baits on a young fighter and stop him in 3 rounds, that's impressive. I find that impressive. But you still can't get an opportunity with Terence Crawford. You can't get it. You shitted on him when you was a champion. Now he's going to shit on you. Banco Z, Thurman is a warrior, though. That's facts. I was expecting, listen. I even said I wouldn't be surprised if this young bull upsets Keith Thurman. I thought it could happen. Dude ain't been in the ring for over a year. The last time he fought was in February of last year when he went the distance with Mario Barrios. So I'm like, nah, yo. You've been inactive too long. This guy came back like he's like the old one time. Like he's still one time Keith Thurman. Now let's see if he's going to remain active. Are you going to mess up another elbow, mess up a hand, and be inactive for another 2 years? Or are you going to be active and keep fighting? How about Lara versus Bud at 160? Nah, to be honest, I think Lara's washed already. He's already taken a lot of punishment. He's been in a lot of wars. I think that Bud would beat his ass. Lord Freezer, this nigga Crawford a cheat code. He a glitch. People don't want to give him his respect, man, no matter what he do, but he just gonna keep winning. Jose Oro Lopez. Bank OZ, who do you mean? Oh, Josecito Lopez. Oh, nah, that's a special fighter. Now you bringing up a throwback special fighter right there. Yeah, Marco Lara's done. I think Lara, that's it. Matter of fact, didn't he get beat up badly in his last fight too? Or did he win his last fight? I can't remember it, but I don't think Lara can hang with somebody like Crawford or anybody on that level. You know, he's been through too many wars, taken a lot of punishment. Oh, he won? Still, man, I can't see Lara fighting a guy on that level. I see him getting just pummeled out there. Superman. He got the belt. Still, he's old. He's old, man. He's old. Yeah, Josecito Lopez was a special fighter. Those who didn't get to watch him, YouTube his ass. Just like that Josecito Lopez highlights. You could even look at the highlights and know what's good with him. Black Jericho. Thurman beat who he was supposed to beat. Jesus Ramos destroys Thurman. You know, Thurman was calling out Tim Tszyu, and I'm like, why you calling out Tim Tszyu? Tim lost 2 fights in a row. Why you calling him out? Boots was calling your ass out. You see, I would like to see Keith Thurman versus Jerron Boots Ennis. That's what I would like to see. Yeah, Black Jericho. I seen that Lara won, but still, man, he's on the tail end of his career. A guy like Crawford will retire him on the spot. Troy Bach. Thurman fought Barrios in February of 2022. That's what I'm saying. His next fight was in March of... Was it in 2020? Whoa. Nah. It wasn't in 2022. It can't be that far away. You sure what? He didn't fight? I think he fought... Didn't he fight Barrios last year? No. My bad. Not in 2024, but in 2023. I'm not sure. I just know Thurman been inactive for a long time, and he just came back like he still one time. Crazy work. Tune up at 160. Nah, he don't need no tune up. He going straight up to 168 to fight Canelo. And by the way, I already read somewhere that him and Canelo, there ain't gonna be a catch weight. That's number 1. And number 2, no rehydration clause. No rehydration clause. That's very important. But like I said, man, Jerron Boots Ennis and Keith Thurman, that's a fight to make. And by the way, Jerron Boots Ennis, I see that he's not going to stay at the welterweight division. He's going to fight this guy next, who's a very good fighter, by the way. Stanionis is a very good fighter, my people. He's not a bum. He's not a B-level fighter. He's a very good fighter. I've been following that dude. So he's probably going to give Jerron Boots Ennis his toughest competition. That's how good the guy is. If Boots get past him, which I expect him to, I think he's go straight to 154. He's going to unify titles and go to 154. Why? Because guys don't want to fight him in the welterweight division. A lot of guys don't want to fight him. And he's trying to get the big fights. He's trying to get the big names. You got Thurman, Cito, you got Thurman beating Boots. Ooh, that's a tough fight, bro. That's a tough fight. I got Boots winning it, to be honest. I got Boots winning that fight. Maybe even stopping Thurman. Because Boots is another one of these guys, man. That's a special fighter. And when you ask, oh, who he beat, for those people, you know, ask who he beat. Who wants to fight Boots? Do you see anybody calling Boots out? Ain't nobody calling him out. He a special fighter, my peoples. But listen, I'm about to finish this live. Before I finish this live, I want to say one love to everybody who jump in. Y'all already know, man, we love the sport of boxing. We passionate about the sweet science. We go back and forth. You know, we debate. We trash talk. But it's all respect for everybody who jump up in here, my peoples. All respect, all love. I appreciate every one of you for coming up in here and giving your point of view. Everyone who hit that like button, everybody who subscribed to the channel, I appreciate you, my peoples. Tomorrow at 9 in the morning Eastern time, we're going to be back up in here talking about boxing. doing what we do. Bank OZ. God bless you too, my brother. God bless all of you. Respect to everybody. Yo, this is Jay Smith. This is Box Center, your favorite boxers, favorite boxing show. Y'all already know what it is, man. Roach, you already know what it is. One love, my peoples. Yo, I see y'all tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Get up early, have your breakfast, and be ready to get this smoke with me. We going at it again tomorrow, my peoples. One love.